Hello, and welcome to episode 15 of Weeds for the 3rd of April 2007. Not Weeds, Weeds. I'm Ben.
I'm Tom.
I'm James.
And whether you're at home, at school, at work, losing the 500 metre sprint to a hedgehog or a plumber, this is the best Nintendo podcast for news, reviews and discussion delivered straight to your hard drive. Here's James with this week's top Nintendo news stories.
This week, DS tops 3 million UK sales, Nintendo to head up E for All, Laurent Fischer speaks out, and the 2007 Olympic lineup. According to ChartTrack, the combined sales of Nintendo DS and DS Lite up to March 24th has topped 3 million sales in the United Kingdom. Even taking into account the 165,000 PlayStation 3 sold that week, the dual-screen handheld is still the best-selling hardware for 2006 and 2007 so far. David Yarnton, president of Nintendo UK, said that this was a great testament to the strength of the DS hardware and software range. With many more touch-generation games launching in 2007, Nintendo DS and Wii will continue to be the main driving force behind the expansion of the video game market this year. Nintendo has been named the flagship exhibitor at the first Entertainment for All Expo this October. E4All is the new public-oriented replacement for E3, set up in response to strong demand within the consumer audience. Nintendo of America's Senior Vice President of Marketing and Corporate Communications, George Harrison, said, "The E4All Expo supports Nintendo's mission to reach as many types of consumers as possible to expand the world of video games to new audiences." Laurent Fischer, Nintendo's European Marketing Director, has addressed claims that the Wii doesn't have enough first-party support, insisting that the company will release games when they're finished and not before. Speaking to GamesIndustry.biz, he said, "I would say that these titles, and this has always been Nintendo's policy, will be on the shelves when the director says so. If the development team says they need 1 more month or 2 more months to deliver a unique Wii experience, we are comfortable with that." He also reassured us that both Metroid Prime 3 Corruption and Super Mario Galaxy will be out this year. But of course the big news this week is that Nintendo and Sega's mascots have teamed up for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. The two companies announced that the game will be exclusive to Wii and DS and will be based on the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games, including events such as the 100 metre sprint, table tennis and swimming. The game will be published by Nintendo in Japan and by Sega in North America and Europe. More on this title, including Shigeru Miyamoto's thoughts on the new partnership, later on Weeds. And that was the news for Weeds episode 15. Back to the show.
Okay, thanks for that, James. A few announcements first. I apologise for not being here last week, but my dad took my PC off me and I really pissed him off, so...
Well, I think we coped without you.
Yeah, it was a brilliant episode. I enjoyed listening to it while editing it, so well done. Now, from now until possibly May, James won't be here, is that true?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. I've got to concentrate on everything else.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking for a guest host for a while, so if you think you can host Weeds for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, then send us an email or apply on the forums and we'll do some interview sort of things and probably get a guest host too. So that's that.
You never know, if you're so good you might replace me.
I doubt that. But,
a couple of requirements: you need to be available generally on a Friday afternoon UK time, and for about an hour and a half, probably about an hour and a half.
I'll say we do take a good 2 hours to record this because about half an hour like planning time and all that. So
yeah.
So you can email us at weedspodcast@gmail.com and join the forums at www.weedsforum.com. So moving on, we're going to discuss a few of the news stories first before we move on to what games we've been playing. So we'll start with the DS has hit 3 million sales in the UK. Now I didn't think that was a lot, to be honest. So, is that overall?
No, that's overall in the UK, and that's since its release. And no, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, the UK is just one country in the world.
That's a lot.
And I think we said a couple of podcasts back that it sold something like 35 million worldwide.
But I was thinking, I always imagined that the UK was a large part of the DS's, the DS's like user base. It didn't. I mean, 3 million to me just seemed really poor.
It doesn't sound that much, does it? And that does include DS and DS Lite. So
yeah, exactly.
But still, even if it's not a lot, I mean, 3 million is still an impressive amount to sell for a handheld, and it is still leading. I said in the news, it's still leading the hardware format chart, and it was like the best-selling hardware all the way through 2006, and so far in 2007, it's still the best-selling console and handheld, right? Despite the fact that it came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, according to my calculations, 1 in 20 people have a DS or a DS Lite. And that's quite a lot of people,
Oh, right.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
that is good.
And you've got to think then that the PS3 has only sold, 165,000 consoles. So then if you put that into perspective, 3 million is a lot.
That is.
So yeah, I didn't really understand this while I was listening to the news. What's this about? Nintendo head up E for All?
Basically, like as we all know, the E3 has changed this year. In the E3 itself is going to be a press only. You have to be invite only. We was actually discussing this at InStock yesterday because the editor was joking that she was going to send our staff writer out to E3, but because it's her name on the invite, she has to go herself. And they will not let you send anyone to E3 other than like someone involved with the press. Because the press were getting quite upset that, to have all, like, loads of nerds, American nerds from, like, Electronics Boutique, going along and just clogging up the queues. So now, what they're going to do, E3 is just going to be for the press, and then in October we get E for All, and its whole thing is E4. So you get it? They've put in the number 4. E for All is going to be the public one. So the public can queue up and come out and try out all the latest games. And Nintendo's going to be like the flagship for that.
But I thought that E3 had like sort of finished in the
No, it's finished. Yeah, exactly. It's finished in the way that it's not going to be the same structure. It shouldn't affect us because we're going to still receive the same amount of information as per usual. It just means the only people it affects are those who go, those who actually turned up.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's cool. So at least if we ever do, we can still go to E4 All.
Yeah.
Laurent Fisher on first party support. Now, could you please explain who Laurent Fisher is, please?
Laurent Fisher is Nintendo of Europe's marketing director.
Oh, okay.
So I think that basically means he's in charge of like promoting all the titles and handling how much information the press and and the user base gets before a game comes out, which seems to be two parts of no bugger all. But he was basically saying like a lot of people have said there's not enough first party support for the Wii. We've only had a couple of launch games, Excite Truck and WarioWare, and then most of it is third party support, which is encouraging given that we had like a discussion weeks ago about whether or not the third parties were supporting the console. But he's basically said that games are going to be released by Nintendo as and when they're ready and not before. Now personally I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't see the problem with that. Is he
No,
complaining or?
I don't know. He was mainly responding to those who do complain.
Oh, okay.
Look, you're going to get this as and when we're ready, and I personally completely agree with that.
There are a lot coming this year to the Wii from Nintendo, but you can't expect to get that many at launch, and we're only a few months in. This is the 5th month of Wii coming up. It would have been.
Yeah, it's like what people have played through Red Steel and Zelda, and they've got WarioWare and they've completed that, and surely they've got other stuff to do than play the Wii while they're waiting for the new games to come out. It's as if the Wii.
To be fair, the story was he was partly apologising for the slippages because there's been a lot of release dates slipping. You've had like Metroid Prime was meant to be out this last month. Super Mario Galaxy was meant to be out this season. And he said, he said, like I said in the news, he said basically if a development team says they need a few more months, he's quite happy to give that to them so that they can make the game as good as possible. And he assured us again that we'll get both Metroid Prime and Mario Galaxy by the end of the year. But he said, if they need more time, I will give them that more time. So it was an apology story.
And the last one was Mario and Sonic, but then we're going to talk about that a little later on. So, moving on. What games have we been playing this week? Well, I'll go first. I have been playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. I bought that I got it on Thursday, and I've been playing through that, and there'll be a Wii view of it later on, and it's very good, you know, it's surprising. I mean, I was expecting more, like, there's all this stuff about gestures and stuff like that, but, you know, the gestures aren't that big a deal. I mean, if you want to act like a retard and fling your hands back and go Kamehameha and all that, you can, but you don't. I mean, all I do is just drag it back quickly, slam it forward, there's your Kamehameha. You don't have to act like a retard while you're doing it. But, you know, the game is fun, and it's fast, very fast. And, yeah, I'll review it more later on in the Wii view, but I recommend getting it if you're wanting a fighting game on the Wii. I've also been playing some custom Robo Arena, Rayman Raving Rabbids on DS, Excite Truck, and lots of World of Warcraft, because I've become addicted again, unfortunately. Tom, what have you been playing this week?
This week, I've not had too much time to play games, but when I have, I've been playing Counter-Strike, I haven't had any time really for Nintendo. Oh no, to be fair actually, I played a bit of Far Cry at Nick's house, and that was crap, I hated it. The graphics are terrible, and the gameplay wasn't fun. And I played a little bit of Excite Truck actually, but otherwise it's just Counter-Strike this week.
Okay, James?
I actually haven't had much time to play anything because I've been doing my uni work. That's why I'm actually leaving the show, because I worked out today. I have got 2 months uni work to do in 2 weeks, and yet despite that, I have still completed like a mission or two on Splinter Cell. So I've dabbled in Splinter Cell, but other than that, I haven't played anything at all.
Well, and education does come first. You can always play games later on in your life when you've got a well-paid job.
Absolutely. Well, if all goes well, I'll be paid to play games sooner or later. So.
Yeah.
No, I hope that's true.
Yeah, definitely. So, we've decided to swap around the order of the show a bit to give the main discussion some more limelight, if that makes sense. So, it's going to be the main discussion, then the debate. So, the main discussion to start off with, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. James, trying to head this?
Yeah, I cannot believe that they've done this. I mean, I remember back in the days when I had a NES, all of my mates had Segas, and I was the only one with a Nintendo. And they're like, "Oh, Sonic rules, no, Mario rules." And none of us could imagine Sonic being on like the same platform. But then, like, GameCube came, Sega dropped out of the console market, and you had a Sonic game on a Nintendo console. That was incredible. But the idea of the two of them in a game together is just, it's mind-blowing. Simply,
but the thing is, it's not like that type of game, is it? It's not an adventure game or something like that. It's just a sports game.
Yeah.
No.
And it is, to be fair, it's just a tie-in with the the Beijing Olympics.
Yeah. I'm worried this is going to end up like the other Olympic games that we've seen previously on other consoles that are boring, have bad controls, repetitive. But, Nintendo need to make it special, definitely. What do you think?
Yeah, and, right, unless they might, incorporate Mii's into it and stuff like that, but, it'll probably be the same sort of... right, with Wii Sports now, I can play it sitting down just by flicking my wrist. You don't have to swing your arms and stuff, and it'll probably just be the same sort of principle with this. Like, for the 100-metre sprint, it'll probably be the same as, that WarioWare minigame, where you just have to run to the end of the track,
Yeah, I don't think it's going to show us anything new in terms of Wii motion capability, but it's going to be something new for Olympic Games, because Olympic Games have always notoriously been button bashing, going back to like the old track and field games, and this is going to be the first proper, active sport game.
No, I remember playing a track and field type game, an Olympic game, on a Game Boy a long, long time ago, and I've played others since on other consoles. I haven't bought them, but I've played them, and they are very much button bashing or alternate button bashing, and then holding down a control stick or swinging it around or something, and it just hurts your fingers in the end.
Yeah, I mean, just think this. This is going to be, alright, the same people who are saying, "Oh my god, I broke my TV with my Wii" and all that, but imagine them bringing out, it comes with a stronger wrist strap, and then you can hold the wrist strap and swing it around like the ball thing you have to swing around, what is it, shot put or something like that. So
Yeah.
if you've got a large enough room to do it, you can stand in the middle of your room and swing around with this really
That's
strong
Hammer.
wrist strap. Yeah, Hammer.
It does
that's
mean that we're going to get
Yeah, exactly,
ambushed by all those
exactly.
messages. Make sure you have enough room around you that you don't bump into people or objects.
But I mean, the Wii is always going to be like that because it's giving you that
Yeah.
freedom. You can't really.
But it's like the iToy. The iToy on the PlayStation 2 has about a 20-minute video, so telling you how to
Exactly,
use
yeah.
it, where to
That was a
stand.
cool video, I like
That's
that.
not a problem. It just goes with the territory, doesn't it?
I've got a video of my friend playing Ito, and it's like this. The Wii is this. This is like
Yeah.
the first generation. I can see my friend like I've recorded him, and he's doing the window washing.
I love that one.
And he's just there waving his arms around like an idiot, and I'm like, must be how we look like when we're playing the Wii. We're playing
Yeah.
sports.
When I'm washing windows.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
I love that song. But it's impressive because it's going to be like a normal Olympic thing. And to be fair, it does feel like Mario and Sonic have been the license to get it sold. Because who would buy a Wii Olympics? Like a Mario and Sonic Olympics would sell more than a Wii Olympics. But the fact that they're we've always imagined Sonic appearing in a game with Mario, but it was always just a guest spot on Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers. It was never a substantial part, but he is half the game. Mario and Sonic at the he's in the title. And it's just we did not see this coming. It goes back to the when the Everybody Votes channel was released, and we had no idea that they were planning this. It just shows that it shows again that Nintendo are the best people for surprising you, and having more tricks up your sleeve than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
To
Go on, Tom.
to build on that, and it's still very much shrouded in mystery because we don't know any details. We haven't seen any screenshots, no videos, no audio. We don't know anything about the game really. We haven't seen anything.
Fair point, but it doesn't take a great deal of animation. You know exactly what it's going to be like. It's going to be a number of different events, a la Wii Sports. All of the you're going to be able to play as all the different characters. So Mario, Peach, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Sonic, Shadow, Amy, Tails, Robotnik, Knuckles, etc. It's going to be a bigger, better Mario Golf, Mario Tennis sort of thing. You know exactly what it's going to be like.
They could, if they wanted to turn it on its head, make it like a party game where the Olympics is just the sort of front for it. So you're playing it like a party game where it's like 3 second or 8 second, 10 second games, but they're based on the Olympics. And so it's like Mario Party 8, but Olympic based, where you've got Sonic in it.
I imagine. I'd like to think that they're going to do a mixture of sporting games like Wii Sports, but then some mini games like WarioWare, like the little running thing.
But I can't see it selling that well unless they show us screenshots of really. We haven't seen this sort of gameplay before. I'm
not going to buy it either. I don't think.
I think it will probably be an underrated game. It will be one. It will be like Mario Golf and Mario Tennis. The only people who bought those were huge Mario fans, or someone who wanted a cutesy version of golf. Wii Sports, let's face it, we've said before, probably wouldn't have sold as well if it wasn't free with the console. I wouldn't have desperately run out to pick up Wii Sports. I'm not desperately going to run out and play this. I might play it, but simply from an old gamer's opinion of, my God, Mario and Sonic in a game. And if anything, that is the big pull here, because an Olympic game, whoopee-doo, Olympic game with sports controls, well, we knew that the Wii could do this, so we're expecting Wii Sports 2. It makes sense, but it's the fact that Mario and Sonic are in the game together are leading the game together. That's what.
Right. Okay. Let's put this in a logical sort of view. Sonic is frigging 300, 400 miles per hour fast, and then there's Mario who's a fat plumber. Come on,
Yeah.
So.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how they balance out all the different characters, because 100 meters Mario versus Sonic. Well, Sonic will be in the bar having a Lucozade before Mario's even started. Yeah. I also think it'd be good. I want them to see them allocating them to different countries. So Mario will obviously be Italian, but perhaps we can sort out Manny's query of whether or not Sonic's American or Japanese.
Yeah, that's the thing is
Japanese.
Isn't we know Peach is American, isn't she? Because she's like.
Well, they've all been
and what's
Americanized,
Bowser?
haven't they?
Well, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're all Japanese, well, except Mario. Mario's always been Italian. But wouldn't it be cool if Bowser was like Russian? Because, yeah,
I could see him as a Russian.
yeah,
Yeah,
like a huge.
I think the furry hat would suit him.
And then you got, well, yeah, there's Luigi, Waluigi, Wario. They're all Italian.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, perhaps not. Okay, perhaps not real world countries, but it'd be like, you'd get like the Mushroom Kingdom team, the Koopa Troop team, the Green Hill team, the Dr. Robotnik Army team.
Yeah, that would be cool. I like
You
that.
know,
It's a good idea.
and I imagine they may even throw in a few random characters, randomly new characters that just fill up the roster.
Yeah. Well, there are.
It will be disappointing if it's like Mario. I think it's Mario Strikers, where you can only pick like one famous Nintendo character, and then you get a load of Goombas and Koopa Troopers to fill up the rest of the team. I think it should be more along the lines of Mario Basketball, where you actually pick your team out of the superstars. It's good. It's good as well because it means that, I don't know. It shows how flexible Nintendo are becoming with their licenses, which is, I don't know. It's both risky and a good idea at the same time. I mean, they've lent out their big flagship licenses, like Zelda. They lent out to Capcom, and Capcom did a good job of it. Star Fox they lent out to Namco for Star Fox Assault, and that wasn't as good. But things like Mario appeared in I think it was FIFA Street last year from EA. So they've lent their characters to the biggest. What was it?
It's NBA. NBA.
Okay, NBA Street. Sorry, I don't do sport. I don't understand sport. It's people kicking a ball around or throwing the ball around. It doesn't matter. But you saw I swear weren't they also in SSX or something, or a snowboarding title?
Yeah, SSX Tricky, I think.
Yeah. So they're lending out their characters to I don't know, broaden their appeal, but I don't know, it's almost an element of trust in third parties. And we've said, over the last two generations, they've really started to improve their relationships with third-party gamers. And by lending, the licenses and trusting those companies with characters, it's really good. And it's being returned because we've got Snake in Smash Brothers, we've got Sonic with Mario.
I forgot about that. That is stupid.
Yeah.
Snake.
Yeah, I hate that.
No.
It doesn't make sense.
I mean, come on.
Why?
Because it's not right. Because Snake, Metal Gear Solid 4, is on the PlayStation 3. You don't see Snake as a Nintendo character.
But the original Metal Gear games,
I know.
Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2
doesn't
were
belong
on the
in
NES.
the
Yeah, I know that, but
PlayStation stole it.
and also it just doesn't look right there. I mean, he's a realistic character. Then
Yeah,
you've got
I
Mario
guess.
and Pikachu and
But then like the Super Smash Brothers Melee, you've got Roy and Marth, who are pretty realistic looking swordsmen, and Link's quite realistic looking, and then you've got a small fat cartoony plumber.
no,
They're all from Nintendo
just,
first-party games.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, right, everyone wants Sonic in Super Smash Brothers, which is fair enough because he would fit there. He would look right in the game. But Snake just, for me, does not fit. Does not. No.
I know he may not fit, but it does show that Konami's trusting Nintendo with what their biggest franchise. Their biggest franchise is appearing. They've lent the character to Nintendo. That's almost an endorsement of Nintendo. Yes, we like this company, so we've given them Snake. Likewise, Sega are like, well, we like Nintendo, so we've lent Sonic to Nintendo. Well, no, they're going to develop it together. And I think it's really cool Sega and Nintendo working together because with the rise of the right. Don't call me a PlayStation basher at all because I love it. I've got a PS2 down here myself, but as a loyal Nintendo gamer, with the rise of the PlayStation and the Xbox, I've been I and many other gamers have been crying out for the old days of Nintendo and Sega, who were respectful rivals. They were both in the same position. They didn't have massive electronics division backing them up and giving them the unfair advantage. And now, and Sega and Nintendo have both been on the decline. I mean, Sega is now games only rather than consoles only. Nintendo, it's not so much as big as it used to be back in the Nintendo Sega days. I would love it if Nintendo and Sega teamed up to beat or try and overpower Sony and Microsoft. That would just be good fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I mean, no, if they teamed up, you mean officially, Sega actually became part of Nintendo, or just?
Yeah, well, no, I mean. So I've no problem with Sega still making games for other platforms because that makes sense. having lost all the money they were earning from consoles, they have to stay multi-format. But I think if the majority of the Sonic exclusives come to Nintendo consoles,
I certainly see it's definitely a possibility that Sega could be absorbed by Nintendo. Or basically Nintendo buys Sega and wraps them up, and they then own the Sonic license and all the stuff, and Sega only make games for Nintendo, but it's Nintendo making games.
No, Sega is still too big for that. They're too big, and like I said, because they can't make any money from consoles anymore, they need to make money from multi-format versions in order to stay profitable. If things for Sega get really, really bad, I can imagine that happening, and they could be bought up by any one of the three console giants. But at the moment, they've got so much going for them. They've got Sonic's still selling well despite being so damn old. They've got a number of movie licenses. They've got they've had Charlotte's Web. They've got the Philip Pullman films that are coming out this Christmas, the Golden Compass, the Northern Lights, the Subtle Knife, and all that. They've got the license for those. Sega are by no means on the way out. So yeah.
You just You just reminded me. Nice. That's been officially announced yesterday, wasn't it?
Ah, yes.
Has anyone, Tom, have you played
No, I
Nice
haven't.
before? Because I don't get what the gameplay is. Is it platformer or
I've only seen it on YouTube, but it seems you're basically this little court jester that flies through the air, and you have to fly through different rings. So it looks like just a normal flight game, but apparently it was hailed as one of the brilliant games. And like Shigsy himself apparently said that if there was one game he wished he'd made, it would be Nights.
Yeah, it does look, from what I've looked, I've only seen still images, it looked quite like it had amazing graphics back then, and it looks fantastic, but I don't know.
But it's another big thing, isn't it? It's another big Sonic, Sega and Nintendo working together, and it's still just incredible for games for gamers like me who used to have a NES and used to argue with the Master System and Mega Drive mates. The old days of Sega and Nintendo, when it was a really heated rivalry, to see the two of them working together, it's brilliant.
Yeah. But I want them to work together on a game that's a bit, a proper platform. Maybe they could develop a full decent storyline. Like Mario there was that Spyro Crash Bandicoot game where they swapped worlds. Yeah. Well, maybe Nintendo and Sega could do something sort of the same where.
That would be brilliant.
Mario gets sucked into the ring world, and so you've got Mario in a Sonic game and Sonic in a Mario game, and they have to sort of learn how to use each other's abilities, and then at the end they're basically equals because they've got both people's. Yeah, that'd be cool. I think that'd be a good idea.
You could even do that. I don't know, something like Crash to Insanity, where the two characters are manacled together, where you could have I don't know, if Sonic's running along through the level while Mario's sitting on his shoulders firing fireballs at the enemies in front of you. That would be absolutely brilliant.
Oh, you could, like they did with Sonic Rush, you could choose whether you wanted to be Mario or Sonic, and they both, Mario could jump high, Sonic could run fast.
I think, that's definitely something that I imagine that's something they've definitely considered.
Yeah, maybe it's
because
the next
with them working together on Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games, and Nights is coming to Wii. There's definitely a lot of cooperation between Sega and Nintendo now, and Nintendo have really developed their relationship with them. So it wouldn't be a far fetch for Mario and Sonic to appear together in a proper game.
Yeah.
The trouble is, would that game sell? Because of the two licenses, is it a novelty that the two of them are together, or would it be a validly good game?
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah, and also it all does depend on what we see. And let's not forget, we've still got E3 coming up, and that may well throw. I mean, we've got to see Mario and Sonic at the at E3. We've got to see Nights at E3, but you never know what other titles may arise. I have to say this. I love it that. The games industry is and all the followers are so paranoid about April Fools, because Nights and Mario and Sonic are two things that, like I say, you would never ever imagine happening, and they've been announced in late March, and everyone's automatically assumed it's an April Fools. I mean, I think I said on the forums that Mario and Sonic was announced a full 4 days before April the 1st, so it can't possibly be an April Fool's. And we've got official press releases and all that. Nights, was floating around about mid-March, so that can't be that was just a rumour, but they've announced it now, and that wasn't an April Fool's. So I just love it how we're all so paranoid about being fooled by a little photoshopping.
Did you see the Wii helm? Where there's that woman's got the Wiimote in her head, and she's.
No, I missed that.
Oh, that is so funny. She's like playing Wii Sports with her head. So in the tennis game, she's like, hitting it with her head, and it was showing like she was doing different things while playing the Wii Sports. So she was like doing the ironing while eating some cereal while playing.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I saw one that they said that Rare and Nintendo are coming together to make Killer Instinct Kids for the DS. And there was a whole long blog post, and someone just at the bottom put "nice try." I'm not going to believe that, but it's funny because April brings out what everyone really wants to believe, and then come about May, July, whenever E3 is, everyone sees whether or not they get their wishes. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny that gamers have to fuel what gamers fuel what we want. What all their wishes fuel all the announcements that we wish would come out, and the companies do respond to that. So,
got anything more to say on this topic, or
nope?
Okay, so that was the main discussion for this week. We had a few technical difficulties, so if it sounds a bit weird, that's because of my editing. But my editing's been good over the past few weeks, so it should be okay. Okay, before we start this week's debate, we need to announce the winners of last week's battle over the Portly Plumber. Well, I think anyone could predict who won, and indeed it was James, who got 77% of the votes, while Tom got 22%. So congratulations, James, although you kind of win all the time, so it's no big surprise. So, on to this week's debate, and this week it's going to be between the Godfather Black Hand Edition and Medal of Honor Vanguard. So you should all know the rules by now, but I'll explain them again for any new listeners. Each side of the argument has up to 5 minutes to present their case, and then there is a 10-minute battle where both hosts go head-to-head to win the debate. So, in the red corner, making an offer you can't refuse, it's Manish Patel with The Godfather. And in the blue corner, parachuting behind enemy lines, it's James Batchelor with the Medal of Honor. So, Manny, I think you're going to go first this week, so take it away.
Okay. The Godfather Black Hand is a game based on the trilogy of the hit film trilogy of the same name. It's set in 1940s New York, and it spans over all 3 games, not just one game, unlike other movie tie-ins. It starts off pretty explosively. It starts off with a really shocking cutscene of a man and a woman. They're just walking down the street, and the first thing you notice is the style of the game is very, very strong. There's everything from the cars to the buildings to the clothes that the characters are wearing. The characters are wearing in the game are all they all fit together, and nothing looks like it's misplaced or anything. Well, yeah, the man and the woman, they're talking, and they're outside a restaurant, and they show affection for each other, and you notice that the acting is really good, and the way it's shot and stuff is just like a film. So the production value shows straight away. And then they carry on talking, and then she says something like, "Oh, I'll see you in a bit," or something, and he says, "Yeah," and he's off to some meeting in some restaurant with some of his mates, and he goes into the restaurant, and boom, the restaurant blows up, and all his friends and family and stuff are killed in that restaurant, and then you take control of that guy, and the game just starts to teach you the Wii controls, because it's on the Wii, it's got the controls are very, very well integrated with the game. So first of all, there's a couple of gangsters, and they just come up to fight you. So you use the Wiimote to punch. The Wiimote, you hold the Wiimote in your right hand and the nunchuck in your left hand, and the nunchuck is your left hand. It's not like Zelda where you just waggle the Wiimote and it does a sword slice left or right. It's actually how it should be. The nunchuck is your left hand and the Wiimote is your right hand, and you lay into these gangsters, and then you can use the D-pad. If you press down on the D-pad and pull back far with the Wiimote, you do a bigger, stronger punch, and blood goes flying around and everything. It's quite a violent game, and I think with the Wii being so like immersive, it really brings you into the game much more than, you know, in Grand Theft Auto when you just target and press hammer, square button, or an X button to kick. Yeah, after that, you're trying to kill these guys. You kill 2 of them, and one of them comes over to you, and this other guy comes up behind him, and they just shoot the crap out of you. There's nothing you can do about it. You just die. A Tommy gun, just loads of thousands of bullets inside you, and you drop to the ground. And then someone else comes, and they kind of run away. And then this little boy comes around the corner, and he looks over and with a crowd of people looking at this dead body on the floor, and this explosion, and they're in shock. And the little boy he's like, Papa, no! Like, you know, his dad has just died. And then the Don comes over, and he says, you know, in time you'll get your revenge. And then the game fast forwards into the future, and you're an adult. And this is where, you know, the game starts. And basically, first of all, you get to create your own character, which I didn't know was in the game. But you get to, like, if you played Tiger Woods, they had a thing called Game Face, which was quite a detailed thing, like the Mii system, where you could put your own eyebrows, nose, mouth, and set how. But this was like really detailed, that you could set how high your eyebrows are, how far your lips come out, where you've got beauty spots and marks and stuff like that, which is really cool. And you can really make it look like you, which quite surprised me. And the graphics, like, they're probably some of the best on the Wii I've seen so far. Anyway, once you've like created your character, you're introduced to this guy, and he just like teaches you the main things about the town, how there's like all these gangster families around, and you're part of the Corleone family, and you have to keep loyal and stuff like that. And there's quite cool gameplay elements. Like the main thing in the game is to extort different other companies. So you go to like a shop, like a florist or something, and you go in, and it will say new area discovered, and you go in and you'll find the owner of that shop by there'll be a puppet symbol above their head, and you go over to them and you can grab them, and you can start punching them, and you press A to extort, and you talk to them and you say stuff like hey, there's a lot of thugs out there, so how about giving the Corleones a cut of your profits, and we'll make sure no one ruins that pretty face of yours or your business. And they're like, oh, no. They're like, no, you're not having none of my money, you know, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. But then you beat them to a pulp, and there's like a meter, and if you go far enough, then you can extort them, and they eventually succumb. Oh, no.
Whoa.
I've run out of time.
Yeah, you've run out of time. Calm down. So, moving on, it's now James's turn to persuade you with his Medal of Honor argument. So, James, take it away.
Right, Medal of Honor is like one of the best-selling World War II shooters in the world. So it's already an established franchise. Medal of Honor Vanguard twists the formula by putting you as a member of, I think it's the 82nd, 83rd Air Squad, Airborne Squadron. So basically that means that each mission you start on a plane, and you must parachute into enemy territory. Now this is fantastic because, like, I hate all those like levels where you have to you start in the Allied camp, and you're in no danger at all, and you just literally walk into danger. That's not that's no fun. You're thrown into the danger from the very opening second, and like you see it when you're on the plane. You look around. You can look around like I think it's with the Wiimote, and you can see all the other soldiers panicking and worrying about what's going to be down there. Out the side of the plane, you can see that like explosions going off, and like all the other planes around you might be being blown up. And then, like I think there's even been a level where the plane you're on is blown up and you're hurled to the floor, so you have to parachute. Once you're parachuting, you have to guide yourself to a safe landing spot. Now, depending on where you land, depends on how hard your mission is going to be. Because if you land, say, in a safe area, but the enemy come and find you, you're screwed because you're ambushed. If you land in a corner, you're utterly screwed. Whereas, if you try and aim and land into, like, this, say, gun tower that a Nazi man has, manned with a massive mounted cannon, you can land behind him, quickly take him out, and then you've got a mounted cannon to cover all your allies. it's a really intense shooter. I mean, there's always something happening. You've got like 4 or 5 squad members around you, like trying to fight the enemy as well. They're taking cover. They're really quite intelligent. The Nazis are just as intelligent. They're hiding behind like cover, and it's a really gritty, really intense like World War II experience. So and you feel like you're in the heat of the battle. I mean, like a number of games have you as the sole protagonist, and you're the only person who can take out this entire fleet and this entire mob of soldiers. But here you are just a member of the army. It's a bit more realistic. You can be a bit patriotic because you're either American or you're British, and you fight against the Germans. There's always this feeling that you're in the middle of a battle, with a war going around you. Tanks will turn up, and you've got to find a way of taking them out. The situation will change in a second. There's even like some where you have like a small fighter plane will suddenly fly over the top and crash into a building, because there's always a war going on around you. The Wii controls, are pretty good. You hold A to zoom, which is just like Red Steel. But rather than the actual view zooming in, it's more realistic in that you actually see down the line of your gun as if you've moved your head and looking down. I can't believe I'm actually motioning, doing the motion here, but yeah, it looks more realistic rather than something cinematic, like just for the effect. There's a 4-player multiplayer mode, always an essential. You've just got to be on your toes all the time because there's always a battle around you, and like the environments really do vary. You go from like factory shootouts to like claustrophobic tunnels. You'll be going through open areas. You'll be going through woodlands. You'll go through trenches. There's always something different to see. It's a really intense game, and I honestly can't think of anything more to say about it, so I'll stop there.
Okay then. Right. So you've had your. You've presented your cases, and now it's time to battle it out. So, James and Manny, take your positions for the battle between the Godfather and those war men in Medal of Honor. So, go!
Alright, how many times have I done the same thing? War. Like, first-person shooter, World War first-person shooter. It's just been done too many times.
Yeah, but success sells.
Success does sell, but it's the same game.
How many times have you managed football teams?
It's the same game. Call of Duty is the same as Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor is the same. Yeah, Call of Duty hasn't been the same since. Well, the first one was good when Infinity Ward did it, and then was it Treyarch?
You can just say that there's an equal to every single franchise. Like what's it? You've got with NBA and NHL games. You've got NHL 2007 by EA and NHL 2K7 by 2K Games. It's the same game, same franchise, but the two titles are completely different. World War II is a successful, established franchise, a successful gaming convention. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. Okay. All right, but. Alright, it's not like a football game or NBA game. It's not like the roster changes or anything like that, does it? I mean, if I'm fighting, I know they can do different things, like you're fighting for France or you're fighting for Britain or you're fighting for America. The same thing you do is just shoot things. There's no other there's no other element to that game. Like Halo, it's just shooting.
Yeah, but then Halo's like a big success story. It sells well because it's an established formula.
But for me personally, that's not.
Right.
Gameplay. Just shooting
so what?
things
I mean, the Godfather's no
deep
different.
enough.
The Godfather is just another sandbox game. There are so many bloody sandbox games nowadays. You've got like GTA, obviously. You've got the Oblivion games. Everything. Your Spider-Man 2. Everything's free roaming now. Everything's New York City. True crime. It's basically a vintage style true crime.
But that era hasn't been done before. And it's been portrayed in a way that is accessible for a movie license as well. I mean, if they just made a game, Grand Theft Auto, say in the 1940s, I don't think people would warm to it.
You've got Mafia, you've got Gangsters 1 and Gangsters 2.
Oh yeah, but not like this.
Perhaps not, but you've still got that era done before.
Mafia wasn't exactly a big game, was it?
It's still
It
a
wasn't-
game. It's still sold. Same for
Yeah, but
Gangsters and
I
Gangsters
guess
2.
I guess it didn't have the story element that
Yeah, but-
The Godfather
But
possesses.
then we come to like the fact that the Godfather, right? Medal of Honor, an original intellectual
Okay,
property.
but-
No,
yeah.
no. An original intellectual property which has been brought up. It's been written and created from scratch, and then we have The Godfather, which is a movie tie-in, which is only going to appeal to fans of the movie. And I'm sorry, it wasn't even that good a movie. It's 3 hours of really
I haven't.
bad
For the record, I haven't seen the movie. I'm just
I
doing this
have
as
understand
it's
it.
a
I know
video
I'm
game.
going to upset a lot of people with this, but it wasn't.
I've
that
never
good a
seen the
movie.
film.
It's like, it's a movie tie-in. It's not going to be the world's best game if it's anchored to a license, because it shows unoriginality. We can't think of anything decent for a new gangster game. Let's do The Godfather. That way we've got the story written for us.
Okay, you may
It's
say that
not
there's no
even-
originality,
it's not
but
even
listen,
written
it
by-
uses the Wiimote really well. It uses the nunchuck and
So
the...
there's so many games within the all the games.
No, but not. We haven't had a sandbox game with this. This is the first to
That
have
doesn't
like
mean that there's not one
motion
developed.
control
That
in a
doesn't
sandbox
mean that
game.
there's not- I mean,
Oh, I didn't say there wasn't.
More
Scarface
Hero-
is in development.
No More Heroes is going to be a sandbox game, as far as I'm aware, and that uses.
I didn't say
the
that,
Wii
but
remote.
as a first, it's a very good step.
Maybe, but then it's not a Wii game specifically, is it? It's been developed for Jesus Christ! It's been developed for the 360. It's been converted back.
Nor is Medal of Honor Vanguard, is it? I'm sure that's on all other
Yes,
platforms.
that's all on all the other platforms.
So
But
that
that's-
isn't exactly.
that's a simultaneous
It's not
release.
exactly
That's
current
a
path.
simultaneous release, because the week it comes out on Wii, it also comes out on PS2. Whereas The Godfather, we are getting, a year or so, at least a year after the original one came out. Right, a year or so after the original one came out,
That's because it
we're
wasn't
getting
viable
sloppy
to bring it
seconds
out
again.
on.
We're
It wasn't
getting
viable to bring it out on the
sloppy seconds
GameCube
again.
in the climate that
We are
the
getting
game.
sloppy seconds. It's EA thing. Yes, EA. These are both EA titles, but in terms of Medal of Honor, they've developed a Wii one alongside the PS2 one, so they've actually made the effort to develop the Wii one specially. As soon as they started development on the game, whereas The Godfather, they thought, well, how can we get in on the Wii action? I know. Let's convert a few old games, like say The Godfather. That one went down pretty well. Let's put that on.
No, but they've developed the Wii one with the one on the PlayStation 3.
There, maybe, but even then,
So it's not like the- it's
even then,
it's
the
not like it's
PlayStation
just
3
oh
one
they
is
made it for.
literally a
not
straight
PS2.
port. Sorry, no, the PS2
Yeah, go on,
one
carry
came out ages ago. The PS3 one,
Yeah, I know
the
that.
PS3 one is a straight port of the Xbox 360 version. I know it's the Dumbs edition, but that just means it's got a few extra bits. That's also what annoys me, right? Come on, we've got the Black Hands edition. Now, I may not know gangsters, I may not understand the hierarchy of the mafia, but I'm pretty sure Black Hand's not as good as Don. So again, why are we getting the one that's not as good? Why are we getting the one that's they're admitting, okay, we're giving you the second hand, we're giving you the errand boy version. Actually, that's another.
Okay,
point.
you could say
That's
that,
another
but
point. That's what-
having said
it's
that-
another game where you're an errand boy, right? In Medal of Honor, you're a soldier in the war. Granted, you're just one soldier.
Errand boy for your
Every
country.
s-
You're going
No.
out to get killed.
But you're not going out to get killed. You're going out to
You
you're
are.
going out to fight for freedom for your country, right? And
Yeah,
every soldier
and
is important.
and in the process probably get
Every
killed.
soldier is important, whether it's the player or all the soldiers around them. I mean, the player is just a soldier, right? Any
Soldiers
soldier-
are just playing pieces by
any
the
soldier can be
government.
important, and you are the important soldier in this one. You're working with other soldiers around you. Whereas, in the Godfather, you're an errand boy. You're a gangster wannabe. You're shoe shining and message running. You're doing all the dirty work so that the Don doesn't have to. So that when the police find out what the hell's happened, you're going to get it. And who would want to do that in life? Who would honestly want to?
Yeah, but you've got to start somewhere, surely.
No, but if you're in life, would you honestly want to do Marlon Brando's dirty work so that if the cops get wind of what's happened, you're the one in the clink and he gets to sit in this big fluffy mansion stroking
Okay,
his cat?
how exciting a game would it be if we just sat there on a chair and went, yeah, you do this for me, you do this for me, and gave out orders instead of doing the orders yourself. It's the games. It gives it gameplay,
Maybe, but
loads of different things to do, And that's what games are, objectives and missions and stuff to do, not just sitting there delegating other people to do things. That's what RTS is for.
Yeah, but the objectives are pretty much straight on. You accept a mission, it tells you what to do, you've got to do it. Whereas with Medal of Honor, you don't know what you're going to have to do. You know, I mean, the whole mission can change depending on where you land after you parachute out of your plane. You know,
but I've heard this whole parachute thing is like just a gimmick, and that it's in it for like 5 seconds, and then you don't do it again.
But you know, that just goes to show how important 5 seconds are, because in those 5 seconds that can judge how.
You do it in so many games. You do it in Splinter Cell Double Agent, don't you? Right at the beginning, you parachute out of some plane.
No, you don't. No, you don't. In fact,
are you sure? Because it was in the PC demo, unless the Wii version.
Well,
is
I obviously haven't got to that
gimped.
mission yet. But
okay.
It's really just. Oh damn! What was I going to say? No, it's a really unique concept. Choosing where you're going to start the mission, because all first-person shooters, all the way through history, you've been starting at this point down this end of the corridor, whereas this time you land in a non-linear arena and you have to pick where you land. Right, The Godfather's just another. Okay, you're always going to start in this position for this mission. You're always going to accept this mission from this person. Whereas this time, you can. Go
no. There's a lot more. In Godfather, you create your own narrative as you go through the game. I mean, Medal of Honor is like a linear path. You go from one bit to the next, and that's it. In Godfather, like when I started playing it, after they just taught me the controls and stuff, I felt that I had a massive world to explore. I could go anywhere. I could go to like some city all the way across the other side of New York, but I would still. But I would go there and probably get owned by the gangsters.
This week.
They don't like me. The fact is, I could still go there. And in like other games, like other free roaming games like Grand Theft Auto, you're cut off by that. The bridge is under construction again, and it looks like they're going to do that in the new Grand Theft Auto.
Right. So DBZ.
Also, the Call of Duty. Sorry, not Call of Duty. Medal of Honor. I don't, to be frank, about the importance of that, because at the moment the Wii needs important titles, and I don't think that is an important title for the Wii. I think that is just, we can make some money on the Wii, so put it on the Wii. Like, granted, Godfather maybe, we can make some money on the Wii, but they've made a lot more effort in the Godfather. And also, The Godfather is a game that a kind of game that would never have seen light on the GameCube, and it's a violent. It's 18. I mean, it's showing that there is an adult audience out there, and people are buying it up. You see by the sales figures.
Which can be used to blast your enemy across the screen, like
Vote Godfather
does in the cartoons, so you can, punch them through buildings and stuff. Holding down the Z button is used to charge your key up, which is your energy, so you can perform special moves. And the C button is used to fly up or down by pointing the nunchuck up or down whilst holding the C button at the same time. Finally, the 1 button is used to transform certain characters into more powerful forms, and the 2 button is used to switch between tag partners when in a tag battle. Of course, Dragon Ball Z wouldn't be Dragon Ball Z without the huge almighty special moves, such as Goku's Kamehameha or Piccolo's special beam cannon. To use these, there are about 5 or 6 different gestures you must learn. All are incredibly easy to pull off, which means that there are no more confusing 15-button combinations to use as special attacks. For example, one of them is, all involve holding down the Z and the B button, and this activates the gesture mode. And then, for example, to use Piccolo's special beam cannon, you point the Wiimote up, and you point it back at the screen, and it'll start to charge up the beam cannon. So, it's incredibly easy. And also, like most Wii games, these gestures can be done with much enthusiasm or with none at all. The choice is up to you. The storyline, which is relatively engrossing in the anime, is extremely poor and, to put it bluntly, crappy in the game. The events that occur in the cutscenes bear absolutely no similarity to the events that happen in battle. For example, I play as Goku, kick the shit out of Frieza, then be told that Goku has just been annihilated by Frieza. What a load of crap. However, the main story is incredibly long, spanning a good 60 hours. Add this to the many world tournaments that you can enter, and this other tower ranking game mode, and you've got yourself a very large meaty game to pummel through. Most of the characters play in the same way, with different animations added to their moves to make them seem different. There is a customization option, although it's badly explained and it's difficult to use. The multiplayer is pretty poor when compared to the single player in the game. There is essentially 2 modes in the multiplayer, single character battle and tag team battle. Also, it's kind of difficult to win or lose when facing your friends, as they're much smarter than the AI and won't allow you to charge up your key energy like the AI does, therefore preventing you from using any special attacks. So overall, DBZ VT2 is a large, meaty fighter with a range of different game modes that should keep you occupied for weeks. Combine that with a fun control system, and you have the Wii's first beat-em-up sort of game, and a rather successful one at that. Now I've got some ratings. Graphics, I gave it 8, nice cel-shaded look to it. Gameplay, 9.5, fun control system, and has a fair few game modes. Sound, 7.5, and to be honest, I haven't really listened to the background music or the soundtrack in the game, but when I have, it's been some amped up techno crap, which is kinda annoying. Replayability, 8.5, lots of game modes, and a 60-hour story make this a winner in this department, and overall I gave it an 8, so I hope that helps you. Purchase it if you are into the anime or just want a new game to play on your Wii. So yeah, that's that. On with the show. Okay, that was the Wii View, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. So moving on, Wii Vote, and we've got a couple. They might be a bit old, these, because we had a few recorded issues earlier on in the week, so these were from earlier on in the week. Never mind.
This is from when we planned it. See, we do plan these things.
So first of all, cats and dogs again. I didn't really get this.
I'm sorry, I've said this on the forum, I will say it again. This is proof of my theory that, there's just a bunch of questions that are saved on the Wii channel and they're just being released at random. It's not live, it's all a big conspiracy.
But why ask it again? Fair enough, it was on the national and not on the worldwide, but
they'd have got the national results from the worldwide one. In fact, I remember sitting and talking with you guys about the different nations, and about the different, because we talked about, like, Guatemala, had, so surely we can gather them from there.
That's stupid, but,
Yeah, do you think, while we're on the subject, that the international polls last too long? Something like 10 days.
I think they all last too long. And I think there's not enough of them. Because you get, like, one question every 2 or 3 days.
Alright, yeah, I'm starting to get sick. And also, I think it should give you more of an indication when there is a new one. Like, maybe the logo, like the channel, little square on the Wii channel menu thing, should glow or like, say, new one out now, because otherwise you have to keep checking, and sometimes, it takes a long time.
I don't know, it's quite good, because, like, the channel icon will, like, scroll part, it does a scrolling
I know that,
of the latest question.
Yeah, but it could do something a bit more obvious than that,
Yeah.
So, moving on, what sports do you prefer out of these, tennis or golf? Well, I picked tennis. Did you pick James?
I picked golf.
Golf. Alright. Tom?
Just because I'm rubbish at tennis.
In fact, I don't know what I picked. I can't even remember.
So that's the trouble, you just click and you don't think about it, really.
I might done golf, actually, because I used to play that, but... Right,
I picked golf simply because it's just more fun. You can just chill out with your mates.
Yeah, tennis.
Whereas tennis is all like it's all
sweaty.
really tense, and you have to run left from right, and it's like no.
I'm a tennis man.
And then what foods do you like the most, savoury or sweet?
Savoury.
I think I might have put savoury. I'm not sure.
God, what is wrong with you people? Sweet, come on.
Sweet, you can have too much sweet. You can have too much.
Ben can't.
Ben can't.
Ben can't.
Yeah.
Ben just keeps eating like there's no tomorrow.
After like too much sweet food, you start to feel sick.
Listen to this. This is
whereas
what I had.
savoury doesn't make you feel sick unless you've eaten
This is
too
what
much.
I had for my. I went to the shop. I bought 2 bottles of milkshake. I shook them up and I drank both of them. I had a bag of Skittles and 2 bowls of Sugar Puffs, and that was lovely. All at the same time.
Did you not end up in a diabetic coma?
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said you can't.
Oh no, I can't. I just have some insulin, and it does it all.
It's like a junkie balancing the two things. Oh, I've had a bit too much sugar, let's have some insulin.
Yeah, that's right, that's what you do.
I can't wait till they start selling insulin by the penny sweets in paper shops.
Yeah, it's like...
Insulin gun.
You can't though, you have to inject it, because otherwise your stomach digests. But that's beside the point.
They'll find a way.
No, I think the next step is going to be like having a sort of chip put inside you, then you just sort of it somehow tells your body to make anything. I don't know, but anyway.
This
Nice.
is so on topic.
Hey, I'm sure people want to know about my medical trauma centre.
My medical trauma.
Oh come on, it's worse than your exploded vein in your hand, Tom.
Yeah, they're not going to hear about my poor incident with the door halfway through.
Go on, tell them while we're on the subject. Come on, it's entertaining.
Well, I went downstairs to do something whilst in the middle of recording because I had to do it, and then I came back upstairs and I caught my hand like on the door somehow, and it really, really hurt. Then I looked at it and like I think I burst one of the veins in my hand. This is literally 2 minutes ago, and it's gone all red and like there's a bits of blue in it, and it's quite nasty. It feels
See,
funny.
at least Ben can't help anything that he's got. But you're just stupid. You just bumped into a door.
I know, literally, it's like rubbing your hand on the back of the door. That's what happened, and I don't know what happened, but now it's all red and like blood inside my hand.
Oh, that is.
Well, I'm sure the listeners' thoughts are with your hand.
Painful.
Yeah, they better be.
Oh dear. Anyway, online section this week, right? We have unfortunately decided to drop the week 8 section of the show, as we don't feel it adds anything to the overall flow of the show, and it clogs it up a bit. So, if you have any objections to this, you can leave feedback on the forums at weedsforum.com.
Nice little phoenix right there, Link. I like that.
Link. I like Link. Yeah, I thought you were calling me Link.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, website of the week, James. Do you want to?
Right, the website of the week is www.vc-reviews.com. Now, this I just found by accident. I bought myself some Wii points for my birthday, and I thought, and mainly to download Link to the Past, but I thought, I wonder what other games are good. So I just Googled Virtual Console reviews, and it's the first site that comes up, and it's brilliant. I mean, they review every single game that comes out on it, both on the US and the UK, sorry, the European Virtual Consoles. There's a release date for each one, so it tells you when it came out. There's even like a comprehensive list of when things have been rated for, because the reason that we know or we can guess what games are going to come out on the console next is because people keep an eye on like the ratings pages. So like we knew that Star Fox 64 was rated for the US, and sure enough, it came out this week. So, it's got all the ratings, it's got, a little synopsis of every single game, it's got some decent screenshots, because the thing I hate about the Virtual Console is the screenshots are far too small, you can't see them, and you can't zoom in.
That is pathetic, that is really...
But I think that needs addressing, but yeah, if you want to know which consoles are the best, which console games are the best, go and look at this site, it's absolutely fantastic, it's nice and easy to use, and it's just really well done.
Great. Forum section, the top poster of the week is Mill, for posting enthusiastically. We're kind of running out of people to put as the top poster, because...
Well, you say that, the forums have actually got much busier over the last week.
Yeah, there are a lot of people.
I may say that because I haven't been on it for about 4 days, and I had about...
every day.
But the thing is, people are signing up, but they're not posting. And I know we had, what's his name, Wee Gay, was it?
We've had a number of people have started posting since I mentioned that.
Yeah, but, I mean, come on. Right, I know what the feeling's like. We tell you to sign up and you're like, oh, I can't be bothered, and yeah, I know, but just do it because it's good and it gets you in the community.
You'll enjoy it.
And you can talk to us, we're not freaking monsters, we're normal people, you can talk to us, so...
Well, Manny might be.
Well,
Tom might be now with his mutated hand.
I'm going to drop dead in the middle of the show.
Oh,
that's all right. Just don't land on your microphone.
It serves me right for going to go and get food in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Naughty.
Karma.
It comes back to get you. Okay. The newest member at the time of recording was Stephen Robinson. James, do you want to talk about Stephen Robinson?
Yeah, I just wanted welcome to Stephen Robinson and all the people that signed up before him. But big kudos to Stephen, because he's got 11 posts within his first day. Most people just do an introduction post, possibly 2 others. And I mean, we've got regular members who don't post 11 posts a week. And this guy's I signed in this morning, it's Stephen Robinson. Thank you for getting so damn enthusiastic. And he was really enthusiastic about the podcast as well. His introduction post was oh, I can't wait for the podcast, it's my favourite part of the day. I had to read that I had to look for sarcasm in that post because I didn't believe him. But yeah, he really loves the show. So
I know, it really makes my day when I hear that people like the show, even though they probably hate me on it. But
but that's what we're doing this for. We're doing this to entertain people, and it's good to hear it working.
Finally, the topic of the week is post your gaming setup. This has been quite a hot little topic.
This has been fantastic. I love photo topics on forums. Just because you get a little bit of an insight to people. I mean, I think Tom's just started one up, posted a picture of yourself. So by all means, sign on and post a picture of yourself. But like, post your gaming setup, and you can see like how many consoles and games people have got, and how tidy they keep their room. He hangs his head in shame. Yeah, it's just good fun to see like other people's stuff, and obviously like you can't see anything compromising like their exact address or anything.
No.
It's just good fun.
Yeah,
it's interesting to see what people look like, because you never really know, and you always think they look like this, but then you picture them in your head, and then when you see them, it's nothing. It's never been anything like what they look like.
I just like the post the gaming setup. I'm really getting upset because I'm really proud of my telly. I cannot believe I've got such a big telly. And then you see everyone else's like gaming setups, and they've got like bloody great flat screen TVs.
I haven't got one. I
haven't got that. I want a decent TV.
I've got the 32
Yes,
inch.
we gathered. Yours is bloody clinical. Yours.
I think.
Yours looks like it should be in like in a like a really sterile environment. It's literally the Wii, a rack of games, a big TV.
Yeah.
And that's it.
No,
Nothing.
because I can't stand clutter. I mean,
Oh,
You've got
anyone
OCD.
seeing my photo will see.
mine.
I like a bit of clutter.
Look, when you come up in the summer, you'll see how tidy it is. It's like spotless. You can run your finger along the desk, and it's like. Oh yeah. Anyway, moving on. We're going to revive this section because it hasn't been done for a few weeks, but they've got the Q&A section. So a few questions because we haven't been answering them. People have been complaining. So first of all, what way would you most like to kick the bucket or die? If it wasn't a nice way, so if it wasn't natural causes, what way would you most like to die, James?
I'd rather not die, to be honest. I'd rather not give. Fear is my biggest fear is death. I'm scared of dying.
Same.
But something quick. I don't know, like being shot in the head, or
But you see, you don't even
something
know.
where it's literally blinking you're dead.
Yeah, but it's still.
Because like, if you like, I think someone said the person who asked the question said something about dying in a plane. No, because you've got the horror of knowing you're going down. You've got to burn in the wreckage or starve to death when no one comes to get you. I just want to die quickly.
Yeah, same. I would have said that. Go on, Tom.
For me, I'd like to fall out of a plane.
Why?
Why?
Really like high height, but high enough that I could breathe. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It would be just such a good
So
experience.
you'd like to see
end
the
your
ground
life with.
hurtling up towards
And then
you,
splat.
and knowing there's nothing you can do to Oh no!
But you'd probably be dead. You'd probably be unconscious before you hit the ground.
Why is everyone gathered round that Tom-coloured pizza?
Yeah, it's
well,
like.
it would look like my wrist.
No.
It would look like my hand does at the moment, but it would be.
No!
Would it be a
Oh
good way
no!
to go?
No!
No, I can't.
So then having someone put their gun up to your head and shooting it.
Oh yeah, but come on, that's it. You're dead. End of story. There's no.
That's it. It's quick.
Oh, it's
Or
funny
like having
you
your
say
head
that,
cut
'cause I
off.
have read times when it doesn't work properly.
Well, having your head cut off, that works pretty well.
But that's also
Oh
very.
no, that apparently.
Yeah,
oh no,
I
I
couldn't
can
do
never
that.
be the head.
One thing I would not like to die by is suffocation. I could not. That is just
No.
something.
Or drowning, or something along the lines.
Something like that. Because you know you're going to die, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, it's like.
Yeah.
Whereas in a plane, at least you've got that little glimmer of hope that you could survive. This is.
Not if you're Tom and you're falling out.
Well, yeah, but.
Oh, I tell you how I wouldn't like to die: bashing my hand on a door
And
busting
then,
open one of my veins in my hand.
and then the blood rushing through your body.
Yes.
Yeah, no, suffocation, definitely not. So, what is your favourite book? Well, I know Tom's answer to this is.
It is Harry Potter.
Indeed. Hey, have you listened to Mugglecast? Is it whatever the number is? Yeah. They talk about the covers on it.
No, I haven't
And
seen that yet.
they all really like the English child cover.
I'm coming round to liking it.
It's not that I don't like it, it's just the characters look retarded. And,
They do look silly, don't they?
yeah, you know.
That's why I didn't
Was this
like
the cover for the new one?
Yeah.
What?
I haven't seen it
Why
yet.
can't they just be illustrated like, you know, like the film characters, but a little bit more, you know? Because
I don't know.
it's just. I mean, Hermione really does look stupid,
She looks like a German barmaid.
Yeah.
When German barmaids listening.
but my favourite book is also Harry Potter. James, what about you?
My favourite book is, and I recommend anyone who hasn't read this go read it now. I think it's Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and it's this story of. I'm just gonna give a little bit away. It's a story of this young boy. It's this old man recounting his tales, like recounting his life, And when he was like 6, he was just left on the doorstep of a castle, and it turns out he's the bastard son of a royal prince. And of course, you know, they just give him back to the royal the royal family, and it's all done from the first person perspective, and it's so well written. I could not put it down, and I found myself caring so much about what happened to all the characters. Read it, everyone, read it now.
Okay, I might go out and buy that. But at the moment, I'm reading the Keys to the Kingdom series, which is Mr. Monday and Grim Tuesday, Drown Wednesday.
Oh, I've not read those yet.
I'm reading Harry Potter as usual.
Yeah, I'm gonna after I've read these, I'm gonna read Harry Potter and build myself up for the 7th book, refresh my mind. But anyway, one more question. What genre of music do you most like to listen to?
I have to say, I don't listen to any music at all.
Oh my God, what?
I don't know. I'm a real freak in this. I don't listen to any music at all.
God, how can you not?
I mean,
I love music.
I don't know.
It's just I love to sing, and I'm a good singer. I did some Nintendo parodies once, but and I might play some at the end of some shows. I need to get them back off my friend because I deleted them off my computer, and he's still got them on his, so he'll have to send them me. But yeah, they were good. Buy a Wii. Anyway, Tom.
Oh God.
Tom, what is your favourite?
I like sort of rock and rock emo. I'm not emo, but it seems that when I looked up on Wikipedia some of my favourite bands, they do say rock emo next to them. So I was very disappointed to hear that, but they are very good. Yellow Card are the best.
Do you like My Chemical Romance?
No, I hate them actually.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
They're just like 100% emo.
My favourite genre of music is probably rock, metal, heavy metal.
Yeah, Bend is heavy metal, definitely, after what I've heard.
I like all that stuff. But yeah, so feedback this week. I had quite a lot for episode 13, which was the one without me. Just so you know.
Episode 14.
Oh yeah. The first one is from Stevie Epps and
Stevie
Oh, it
Peas.
says Stevie Epps. Look, Stevie.
No,
Stevie.
no, because E is on the end of Stevie.
Yeah, but
Isn't it Stevie P.S.?
It's Stevie Peas.
Stevie Peas.
I'll tell you what, Stevie, let us know.
Right, I'm going to say Stevie Epps, but
Stevie Peas.
whatever.
I just love the way that's pronounced. Stevie Peas.
Anyway,
Stevie P.S.
right. Right, Stevie. Sorry, Stevie P says. Again, the sound quality wasn't that great to start off with, but that settled down to what became a really good episode. I think you spent the perfect amount of time on everything this week, keeping the votes thing very small. The debate was brilliant, although I have to listen to it again to make up my mind about who won, because both sides were valid. So other than the sound quality at the beginning, it was a brilliant episode. We said, who made our amazing signatures, I love mine.
He's continuing to make signatures for the
I know.
forum members, and we're
Brilliant.
really
I
grateful.
say everyone's really gone in. He's really set up shop.
I mean, it's not even like bad they're really good. You know, I mean, oh well. He said, I found this episode good, the sound quality was good, the discussion was good. Also, thanks for my mention again. No problem. Beautiful James said, nice episode this week, guys. The debate was the highlight in my opinion. It's funny to hear the hosts arguing and what they come up with. The main discussion again was better this week, guys. Well done. I really like this episode. Maybe it's because Ben wasn't there. Very funny. Nintendo Nile said, I think it was definitely worth the wait. Good job, guys. We Gay. What kind of name is that? Come on. You know.
Oh no, he's explained his reasoning on the
Oh,
call.
I see. What's his
And
reasoning?
it's perfectly valid reasoning.
It is perfectly valid.
Go on. What is it then?
Well, he likes
Well,
Wii and he's
he
gay.
has a Wii and he's gay.
Oh, all right then.
I thought he was
It does
slagging
what
off
it says
the Wii
on the
when
tin.
I first saw it, so I was like, what's with the name?
Yeah, I thought it was just him being immature, but fair enough. If you're using it in a term that right in society, that's fine.
Well, if he wants to Wii bash as well, you know, if he wants to slate Nintendo, he can do so, but he won't be very popular.
Yeah. And he says, I think episode 14 is the best one so far. What is it? I am not there. How can it be the best one? Come on, people. Mill said, I wish there was a 3.5 rating. I enjoyed this week again, but I just didn't think it was too great or too average. I prefer it when it's the four of you. See, Mill wants me there. Mill loves me.
Mill, I think
Bless.
you might
Has
be
the,
finding
has the
yourself
shepherd
with some
lost his
reward
flock
from
then?
What did you say, Tom?
Mill's going to be the popular member of the week if Ben's in
Oh,
charge.
I know. Well, he is, isn't he? He is the...
Well, he is.
So that's why, isn't it?
Nippon.
Bloody Ben fanboy there.
Nippon. Oh, sorry. I enjoyed this one. The main discussion was the highlight of the episode for me. It's something that Nintendo fans don't always like to admit, but with the Wii being so young and in the public eye, we know it can't last forever. So yeah, that's the feedback. Some good feedback there. And we now have some... There we go. We now have some release dates for you. The 13th of April, on the Wii, we have Buster Move Bash and Wing Island. On the 20th of April, we have Disney's Chicken Little for the Wii. On the 18th of May, we have Impossible Mission and Legend of the Dragon for the Wii. I need to update them release dates, actually. But yeah, Virtual Console releases are Punch-Out for the NES, Legend of the Mystical Ninja for the SNES, and Dragon's Curse for the TurboGrafx. And that's it for this week's show and to the community outlet. Remember to email us at weedspodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts about the show and the hosts, as well as any suggestions you think would make the show better. Also, could you put fan mail in the subject box so we can easily identify emails to be read out on the show. Although people aren't bothering with emails anymore, they're just using the forums.
That's fine though,
so
isn't it?
Either suits us, providing we hear what they want
that's
and
fine.
hear what they think. It doesn't matter.
Also, be sure to check out our MySpace at www.myspace.com/TheWeedsPodcast to add us and see what we're really like. The Frapper map can be located at www.weedspodcast.com. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page to locate the map, add your pin, and help us grow our Frapper map. Finally, the forums are located at www.weedsforum.com. If you join, you'll get access to all the latest Weeds news, as well as episode previews, the chance to vote in the debate polls, and a great community just wait to talk to you. So go ahead and join now, because the Weeds forums really are the best place to be. Good episode this week. Good debate.
And an interesting main discussion, I thought.
Yeah.
I could have talked about that all day, but...
And we've tried to incorporate some humour into the show, although we'll just have to see how people respond to that. Thomas just sent me a Skype message saying he's fainted, although he hasn't really. Anyway, from me, Ben.
Me, Tom?
Right.
No.
No,
Tom's
I'm not
hasn't he?
gone.
Sorry.
I'm here.
I
Yeah, I sent that 12:40.
Oh, you are here. So just say your line.
I sent that half an hour ago.
What?
Yeah,
That's when I hurt my wrist. My whatever it is, my vein.
It's 13:12 now.
Okay, yeah. Finish up so Ben can go.
Okay, from me, Ben.
From me, Tom.
Me, James.
See you, people.
Bye.
Tom's fallen out of a plane.
Now, you may have been wondering what happened when Tom got back from going to get some food and he said he hurt his hand later on in the show. Well, this is that moment. We cut it out of the show, obviously, because it was a blooper and, didn't really fit in the show. But I've put it here so you can listen to it and get the full picture. It's quite funny in some places, so hope you listen to it and hope you enjoyed the show. See ya.
Yeah, I just got back. Ow, I hit my hand. I scraped my hand
Are you
against
still
the
here?
door on the way back
Okay.
up, and my hand, and it's gone all blue and red on the inside. I think I've hit a vein.
Ow. Oh, don't.
Yeah, I'm just worried. Is that dangerous?
Oh, nice.
It's going all blue and red.
Well, I don't know.
No, it's probably just a bruise.
I'm in on my own as well, which is a bit of a bugger.
Isn't a bruise
It can't.
just
People must do it all the time.
Isn't a bruise just internal bleeding and it'll heal?
Yeah,
itself?
but like this is pretty
but
serious.
No, internal
is
bleeding is
internal
considerably,
bleeding, just
more
not very
of a problem
bad.
than bruising.
That's what a bruise
Yeah.
is. So, I don't know, leave it a bit, and then if it...
Can you move your fingers?
You're
Yeah.
right.
You're right.
Fingers, great.
Yeah, but it's pretty scary when it all goes blue.
But if you think you're gonna die, ring 999.
Wait, am I meant to stop recording? Should I stop recording?
If you're really that desperate and you don't want to,
No, it's just
Oh, right, yeah, we are.
I
We
didn't
just-
know if we were carrying on recording or not.